Eclipse season used to completely destroy me. And if Mercury retrograde was attached, it was even worse. It felt like everyone's emotions, including mine, were out of control. My husband and I, who usually really talk things through with each other, would start screaming at the top of our lungs. My children would be having wild emotional outbursts, and I just did not know how to navigate it. At first, I didn't even know it was eclipse season or Mercury retrograde. But when I figured out that's what was behind these crazy emotional swings, and not just emotional swings, the emotional swings were tied deeply to things that I had been keeping silent about because I wanted to keep the peace. And I found that that was true as I started examining it for my husband and my children as well. During eclipse season and Mercury retrograde, we simply couldn't keep it bottled up anymore. And it had to come out. And it started just exploding out of us, either as big tears or big yells. This was so uncomfortable that I started to really overthink everything and really try to control the situation. I was doing this because I wanted to stop these big uncomfortable emotions. It felt like we were falling apart, and that's definitely not the experience I want for my family. But last night, the day before the lunar eclipse, 2 days before Mercury retrograde started. So we're already in the inner energy of these things, because the energy of these things starts days and sometimes even weeks before they hit us fully. So last night, I turned to my husband and I said, I really can't freaking believe how amazing I feel and how amazing we're all doing, both as a family and individually. I'm really, really excited about everything that we're creating together and everything that I'm creating. And the contrast of that, seeing how I have walked through previous eclipse seasons. In the beginning, when I found out they were happening, really, really roughly, they were so, so, so heavy. And seeing the contrast of how aligned this one is really blew my mind. And it's a testament to, if we follow our inner guidance every step of the way, even and especially when it doesn't make any sense at all. When a logical person would tell you, don't do that, that doesn't make any sense. But you feel it in here. You're like, I feel this. Something in me is telling me, do this, go for this, make the move. And my kids are in here, so that's my daughter's shadow back there. You guys want to say hi?
Hi.
So what changed? Well, I upgraded my frequency, but I didn't stop there. I also upgraded my belief system. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do the same thing so that you can move through massive energetic shifts like eclipse season, feeling lit up and aligned instead of drained. And if you want to go even deeper into the journey with me, I will put a link down below for Four Elements Eclipse Alchemy. Years ago, when I started learning about eclipse season and Mercury retrograde, I was hearing people say things like, don't sign any contracts during this time, don't get your hair cut. Basically, don't leave your house and hide under your bed so that you don't make any wrong moves and have a cataclysmic mistake on your hands. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. I don't like the way that feels, because I know that I'm a creator. I know that I am God's source, the universe and form. So why am I at the mercy of these turning planets in the sky? Why do I have to limit my ability to create at certain times and certain seasons? I'm like, this just is not right. But I started noticing as I went deeper into this that I was experiencing this, that there were lots of communication snafus during Mercury retrograde, because Mercury retrograde is all about bringing up all the communication things that you've been avoiding, all the things that aren't working in your life that you've been avoiding, and sort of sticking them in your face and saying, here, you can't ignore this now. And eclipse season itself does this, but in a wider way. It brings up all of the other things and some communication things as well that have been repeating patterns for you, where you essentially have been staying small and saying, I would really like to say this, or I would really like to do this, or I would really like to have this, I would really like to experience this, but I don't want to inconvenience anyone else. I don't want to take up too much space. I don't want to make anybody else uncomfortable. So I'm just going to kind of stay small over here, and I'm not going to really step into what I truly, deeply desire. And instead, I'm just going to sort of water down those desires so that I'm not stepping on anybody else's toes. I started to believe like everything was just going to go crazy during this time, and there was nothing I could do about it. I was trying to be really careful to be as perfect as I could so that I wasn't causing any big disasters. And if something started shifting in my life, instead of being like, I trust, I am safe, I trust, I am safe, I would do my best to hold tight to the grip of control to try to prevent it from changing. So I was stuck in a mindset of fear and control. And I was really hoping that if I just was good enough during these times, I could avoid the chaos. But what was actually true was that resistance was making everything harder. I was working against the energy instead of with the energy. So how did I shift this to feeling so aligned? I stopped seeing this as a time of punishment. And I started seeing it as a deep opportunity to align with my soul's truth and go deeper into my own path. I realized eclipses and Mercury retrogrades are actually huge portals for us to align with our truth and to drop all of the baggage we have been carrying around that feels heavy to us, that has never been in alignment, but we have been telling ourselves a story, trying to force ourselves to settle for all this baggage. Here are 3 of the big mindset shifts that I made. The first one was I shifted from everything's happening to me to everything is happening for me, for my highest good, and everything is happening for all my loved ones, for their highest good as well. And in fact, everything is happening for the highest good of all humanity. Even the things that feel incredibly difficult, incredibly painful, they are happening to assist us in rising up to next levels of our inner truth and our inner power. I think of it this way. If I was raised to know that I was God's source embodied, that the power of the universe flowed in my veins, I wouldn't have a lot of baggage to release. But because I was raised in a way that led me to believe I was just a lone human that was essentially powerless, I picked up a lot of baggage that wasn't really mine to carry. Eclipse season, Mercury retrogrades, they're assisting me in ditching that baggage that was never mine to begin with. That brings me to my second belief system upgrade. I released the belief that the baggage that I've been carrying is mine, that I'm responsible for it. And I stepped into the new belief system that I am so guided and so loved and so supported by all that is, by the entire universe, that I don't have to carry anything that feels heavy to me ever again. That anything, the burdens, the shoulds, the have-tos that I've been dragging around, I can give them to God's source within. I can give them to the angelic realm. I can say, here, carry this for me. Here, transform this. So often, we make decisions from a place of, if I don't do this for this person, for that person, everything will fall apart for them. I'm responsible for them. But what if we saw all the other people in our lives, our loved ones, our friends, our acquaintances, strangers on the street, as God source embodied? What if instead of seeing their weaknesses, when we looked at them, we saw their light? Now, the truth is, when we aren't looking at ourselves that way, when we are looking at ourselves and seeing our own weaknesses, it's almost impossible to look at others and see their light. So this must start within, with us looking at the light within us and choosing that that light is what is real and true. And using that light to hug and to love and to accept the parts of us that do feel not good enough, that do feel wounded, and all the shame, all the guilt, all the pain we've been carrying, sending forgiveness to those parts of us, sending I love you to those parts of us. This belief system is the burdens of others, burdens of the world are not mine to carry. I give them to God's source to hold. And something beautiful happens. We become empowered, and the people around us become empowered as well. The third belief system I upgraded was moving from fear to trust. So before, I looked at if I made the wrong decision, I was going to be punished. Something bad or unpleasant was going to happen. And now I'm deep in trust that whatever happens, I'm supported, I'm loved, I'm guided. I also trust myself to take the actions that my inner guidance system are leading me to, instead of looking all around me for what are other people doing, what do other people expect me to do. This is a really powerful shift. My life used to be full of fear. Everywhere I looked, everything terrified me. And now it's full of trust that everything is always happening for me and that it's safe for me to give my burdens to the universe. And what these belief system shifts do is they open up space within us to hold more of what is aligned. Ultimately, eclipse season, Mercury retrograde, these things happen every springish and every fallish. They are portals for divine realignment. In my experience, shifting your mindset is very, very difficult to do when you're just doing affirmations because you're just essentially putting lipstick on a pig instead of acknowledging what's within that's not in alignment and bringing it back into alignment through love, trust, and acceptance. You're pushing it away and saying, ooh, bad, get away from me. I need to be high vibe all the time. And you're actually missing the whole point of everything here on earth, which is to remember that we are divinity in form, that no part of us is bad or wrong, and that we are here to love ourselves fully and completely, and then give that love to others. So eclipse season is not here to ruin your life. It is not here to cause chaos because you've been bad. Eclipse season is here to help you align to your truth. When you understand this on a fundamental level, you can stop fearing the change that it brings, and you can start embracing the tremendous high frequency energies that are available to us at this time. When I'm doing energy work, I keep in mind, what is it that I am being called to witness that's no longer in alignment? This might look like my husband and I just had a big fight. And at first, I might go to a place of like, oh, he was bad, or was I bad? Was this my fault? But if I give myself a little bit of space to breathe and recognize that we are both God's source embodied, we are both the light, we are divinity in form in our human journeys, I can start asking some helpful questions like, why did we have this fight? What had we both been bottling up within ourselves that we didn't want to say to the other, that just came pouring out of us? When we did that, some really, really amazing things started to happen, but we had to be honest with ourselves. If we're not willing to shine the light of awareness on what's within us that's not in alignment, that we're trying to hide from, we're not going to benefit from the tremendous change energies that are available to us right now. So when we shine the light of awareness on what we were fighting about, and instead of passing blame, we said, why have we felt like we couldn't share this with each other? Did we feel like we weren't good enough? They weren't good enough? Where do we need to forgive and send love and acceptance? And then from that place, we can release whatever belief systems we were holding that are not aligned with who we really are. This allows us to open our throats and our voices wider and say, it is safe for me to share, it is safe for me to speak, my opinions are valued. And when we value the other person's opinion, it just amplifies our opinions being valued. But when we aren't really interested in the other's opinion and we just want to be heard, it actually makes it so that the other person can't hear us. So when I'm doing energy work, first I want to get really, really clear on the old belief system. And then I'm going to activate the opposite belief system. If the old belief system is I'm not important enough to be heard, or I don't know if what I have to say has value, the new belief system is it is safe for me to share my truth. It is safe for me to use my voice. It is safe for me to speak.
Let's go back to where I was talking about recognizing that if I'm the creator of my reality, it doesn't make sense that these planets and the way that they spin is ruling my reality. What I have learned through this is the higher we go in terms of energetic frequency and belief systems, the less that we are actually ruled by the spinning of the planets. This coincides deeply with what I am explained to me years ago when I asked about this. I am's like, yes, the entire Earth was set up on autopilot, the entire universe to be influenced by the planets. But as we go deeper and deeper and deeper into our truth and live in full alignment with who we really are and up level our belief systems and frequencies, all of a sudden we begin to exist outside of the rules of the physical realm. And we now have the power to have deeply aligned experiences, even if it seems like the rest of the world is in chaos.
If you would like to do massive energetic upgrades during this eclipse season and Mercury retrograde, I have created Four Elements Eclipse Alchemy. And I also included as a bonus an energy activation that I made during the planetary alignment a few weeks ago. And it's one of the most powerful ones that I have made in the last 4 years. If you feel called to going deeper into the energies of this portal with me, there'll be a link in the description. Sending you so much love.